In this video, we're still looking at main idea and details, specifically details on this lesson. But this is item number 5. You have a paragraph and an organizer that go together. This organizer is a hexagon. It's 6-sided. So this one has a lot of details. And remember, in our last clip, we read the one about the common cold costing us as individuals money. So this passage goes right along with that. Researchers say that the common cold costs businesses in the United States about $25 billion a year. Most of that cost is due to a loss of productivity. When sick people go to work, they do not get as much work done, and the work they do is often not as good. The rest of the cost is due to missed days. People miss work because they or their children are sick. So again, I'm going to leave that main idea until the end, but I'm going to say that we're talking about the common cold. But this time it's not about individuals, it's about businesses, the companies that we work for. So this time the focus is a little bit different. It's still the common cold, but we're looking at businesses and the common cold. So I'm going to do my details first. That's just a personal preference, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. First thing I want to go for is number. Anytime I see a number, that's going to be a detail. $25 billion a year. Billion with a B. I'm going to write that out for you just so you see the impact of that. 25,000 million billion dollars a year. That's money, guys. Think about that. I almost thought that was a misprint, but I went back and checked the source again, and it is billion. $25 billion cost to businesses. So where does that money come from? Where does that huge amount come from? It's most of that cost, so more than half, is due to a loss of productivity. So I'm just going to say loss and I need to stop and ask myself, what does productivity mean? If I go to work for 8 hours and I work for 7 hours and eat an hour lunch, that's a pretty productive day. If I work for 8 hours and I talk to my friends for 3 hours and I eat lunch for 2 hours and then I take a coffee break that's half an hour, that day is not very productive. So common colds cause people to not be productive. Well, how so? Let's dig a little deeper into that. People do not get as much work done if they're sick. So we could say not as much work done. That's one way it costs businesses money. So the people may be at work, but they're not getting anything done. So that's costing the business money. Another way is that they may do a full 8 hours, but the work is often not as good. They may make a lot of mistakes because they don't feel well or because they're taking cold medicine. So we could say that the work is not as good. And then some people are just too sick to come to work. So that's a cost that businesses incur. Missed days. They may have to get a substitute for you to fill in, or there may be nobody to fill in. So days are just missed entirely. They either have to pay someone to take your place or just not have the benefit of your work. And this can happen because people or their children are sick. It can be because of sick kids. Some miss, they're not sick, their kids are sick. And the passage says children, but I'm just substituting my own words. I'm just taking notes here. So let's see what we have. We have the topic is the common cold in business. It's $25 billion lost yearly. I should have put that in there. It's the cost to businesses in the United States. There's a loss of productivity. Not as much work gets done. The work is not as good, or people are not on the job, and sometimes it's for sick children. So our main idea has to encompass all of these. Now that gets harder as the petals get more plentiful. This one has 6 of those little flaps. We've been looking at 4. So this main idea is a little bit harder to come up with, to synthesize, to make. So let's see what we can do here. Businesses lose a lot of money when employees or their children are sick. So let's see if this is going to fit. A lot of money, $25 billion. Employees are sick, so there's a loss of productivity. Not as much work gets done. Their work is not good, or they miss days. And the kids, remember we've got to include them too. So all of these little details relate to that main idea. You don't have to mention every detail. You just have to explain it with your main idea sentence. And that is tricky sometimes. It's hard, especially when you have a lot of these little details, to fit all of that into your main idea. Okay, we will practice more of this in the next video, and I will see you soon. Have a good day.